Okay, so this is what happens when one of the most anticipated games of, well, basically the decade are about to come out. There's going to be a ton of controversy surrounding it, a ton of people getting pissed that they don't get early access to the game, and even more so, a ton of people that are getting outraged over the most unimportant things when we're just like, what, 4 days away from the release of Cyberpunk, and in just a few more days, everybody will get their hands on the game. So what's up, everybody? Welcome back to another Cyberpunk 2077 news and gameplay video. Today let's discuss about some recent development. It seems that a ton of even big sizable news outlets aren't getting review copies of the game. A ton of people are getting pissed, especially at CDPR, for quote-unquote trying to hide something about the game or trying to delay it again, or a whole bunch of stuff that doesn't really make any sense. By the way, if you want to get the game much cheaper, you can use my links down below and get about 20% off of Cyberpunk 2077 when purchasing it on GOG, so that would be really helpful to you. You can also use the same link to go ahead and take part in a really cool giveaway that gives away 10 free copies of Cyberpunk 2077 and a really awesome RTX 3080. But with that in mind, let's begin with basically one of the tweets that started this all. So Ryan Brown over on Twitter, he basically writes for VG27, like gameplay related stuff and reviews. He was mentioning this yesterday. So press still do not have review copies of Cyberpunk 2077, a game that launches next week and touts itself as being 100+ hours. Perhaps do not expect reviews for launch, lol. And he then came in and clarified, okay, a few press folk have privately let me know that some do already have review units of Cyberpunk. A lot of major outlets are still waiting though, which is kind of odd. And honestly, this kind of goes in kind of with what my experience is in my region. It seems that most people in my region did not receive one and will in fact start receiving it somewhere along the lines of 7 or 8 December, so about 2 days before the game's launch. But so far so good. The only problem is that we do have some sort of unofficial confirmation from some big Twitter handles that mention review embargo lifts on December 7, which would be tomorrow, Monday, December 7, which is quite insane. Basically, anybody who got it at this point and not prior to December 4 is not going to be able to review it in time. And I do know a few really big YouTubers who didn't get a chance to get an early copy of the game and will not even be reviewing the game day one, which kind of brings us to the point that I wanted to make from the beginning, and that is the fact that some really respectable reviewers in the YouTube space and people that I have a ton of respect for did not and will not receive early review copies of Cyberpunk 2077. I at least know of Jeremy, aka ACG. He's a very prolific reviewer, very respected when it comes to this kind of stuff, especially by the YouTube crowd and the Reddit crowd, and basically everybody who is really connected to the gaming space will give a ton of credit to Jeremy. Apparently, he originally was informed that he would be getting an early copy of the game this week. The code somewhere along the lines changed and he won't receive one. So yeah, he doesn't mean that nobody is owed a code. Coverage will switch over to other titles I have my eyes on. Enjoy the game, Corpo. And he later came in and clarified that he might not even post a review altogether, because by the time he might even do so, other people would have already posted theirs. So yeah, if he doesn't have much to say more on top of those people, there's no reason to just blurt out the same stuff other people are saying, which to be honest is kind of like a bummer. I hope that he doesn't go with this route. I hope that eventually he does review Cyberpunk 2077, and he probably will do it at some point. It's also on the fact that, well, he's one of the best reviewers out there. Like, he just goes a little bit more in depth than other people and other big news outlets that leave a ton of stuff behind. Like, why watch a 6-minute IGN video that just tells you about general stuff that you probably already know, when you can watch somebody like ACG or Skill Up that go in a ton more detail when it comes to the game, like the minute details that somebody who expects a lot from the game might want to know. Maybe it's just me, but when I watch a review, I prefer it being longer rather than shorter, because I really want a reviewer to go over all of the details, even the minute ones, something that the big news outlets don't usually do. Like, they just go over the superficial stuff that is at a surface level, like something that usually anybody who plays the game just notices naturally within the first few hours. What I really want to see from a review is something that goes a bit deeper than that. Somebody who has already finished the game, got a good grasp of most of the mechanics when it comes to that game, and even more so, somebody that explores and dives in deep into the more secret stuff, something that developers usually hide so that you have to put in a lot more work to discover. Maybe it's just me, but I just like things going in a little bit more of a longer kind of format, which people like ACG, Skill Up, and others similar to that kind of go into. But on the same note, now there's a different kind of outrage. It seems that people who got their chance to watch the gameplay or play the game in advance, again, a ton of people out there, thanks to Best Buy, got early review copies, or not really review copies, they got the whole game, especially the collector's edition, in advance. And surprise, surprise, it doesn't have a day one patch. It's not patched. Of course, it's going to have problems. So now, well, the same people are arguing on the net that, yeah, the game is not in a great state. Well, I only have one thing to say about this. Most of the complaints I'm seeing online are in regards to the bugs and the issues with the performance of the game, especially on the old consoles. And I will just say this, the same thing that I said in a previous video, and that is, bugs are way easier to fix, bad design decisions are not. So if there are bad design decisions, that will obviously take a long time to not fix, but recreate. You have to create a feature from the ground up or significantly change it, which takes a lot more manpower and time to do so than it is to fix some bugs. So all in all, I am glad that this is the overwhelming majority of the complaints that I am seeing in regards to Cyberpunk 2077. And again, keep in mind that people who did get the chance to, for example, on the Xbox Series X, apply even the Day Zero patch, they did notice that most of these bugs already went away. Not to say that the game is perfect, it's definitely going to have still more bugs, even maybe after Day One patch. I don't think there were any games in the past decade that were released without bugs in the beginning of their release or launch days, but eventually they get flashed out. Similarly to how Witcher 3 is now praised as one of the best games of all time. When it launched, I still remember how many people absolutely annihilated it online, and then it just died down like not even 3 months later down the line when, yeah, CDPR came in, changed a lot of stuff. They also added in a ton of bug fixes, and even more so when they added free DLCs and the expansions, the paid ones, down the line. But this is it with the news so far. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this at any point, don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.